We're going to start with the good heists and make our way to the greatest heists of all time. Number 5. The Great Train Robbery. On August 8, 1963, a 15-man crew targeted a Royal Mail train running from Glasgow down to London. They set up shop near Sears Crossing in Buckinghamshire, where they rigged the railway signals by covering up the green light and hooking a battery up to the red one to force the train to a sudden stop. When the co-driver stepped out to see what was wrong, the gang grabbed him, jumped into the engine, and forced the driver to move the train down to Bridego Bridge. This would be where the main team was waiting. They uncoupled the locomotive along with the second car, which was packed with high-value mail sacks. In under half an hour, they managed to unload 120 bags filled with around £2.6 million in cash, which has a value worth over £50 million today. Originally, the plan was to lay low at a nearby spot called Leatherslade Farm, but when police patrols started closing in, the crew panicked and took off early. They quickly tried to burn the place, but in their rush, they left behind a goldmine of evidence. This would include fingerprints on a Monopoly board, a ketchup bottle, and some glassware. These prints are what gave investigators everything they needed to track down and convict most of the gang. Most gang members ended up getting sentenced to 30 years in prison for the crime, although most got out before serving their full sentence. Number 4. Lugthansa Heist. On December 11, 1978, a crew linked to the Lucchese crime family hit Lufthansa Cargo Building 261 at JFK Airport in New York. Mob associate Jimmy Burke ran the operation, using detailed floor plans and a shift schedule handed to him by an inside man named Louis Werner. Right around 3 a.m., 6 masked men with guns walked into the building, tied up 10 night shift workers, and forced the senior agent to disarm the alarm and hand over the vault codes. Once inside, they secured untraceable US cash shipped in from West Germany, along with nearly $1 million in high-end jewelry. The entire job took less than an hour, and they walked away with approximately $5.8 million, which has a value of around $25 million in today's money, which actually at the time made it the biggest cash theft in US history. But the aftermath turned into a complete bloodbath. Getaway driver Parnell Edwards made the fatal mistake of parking the van in a red zone instead of taking it straight to the scrapyard, leaving police to find it just 2 days later with prints inside. Paranoid that people would start talking to the FBI to save themselves, Burke ordered a ruthless purge, killing or disappearing over a dozen people tied to the robbery. In the end, none of the money was ever recovered, and only Louis Werner was ever convicted for the robbery itself. Number 3. The Banco Central Heist. Over the weekend of August 6, 2005, a syndicate pulled off a massive vault break at the Banco Central branch in Fortaleza, Brazil. 3 months before the heist, the gang rented a commercial building just 2 blocks away from the bank and set up a fake business selling synthetic turf. This fake business would give them a perfect cover to haul away tons of dirt without anyone batting an eye. The gang would dig a 256-foot tunnel 12 feet below the surface, fitting it out with wood paneling, electric lighting, exhaust fans, and even air vents. The tunnel ended right beneath the bank's reinforced concrete floor. Over that weekend, they used heavy-duty machinery and diamond-tipped drills to punch through 4 feet of steel-reinforced concrete, completely avoiding the internal motion sensors and seismic detectors. They packed roughly 164.8 million Brazilian reais, which is around 70 million USD, and hauled it all back through the tunnel. Since it was the weekend, the bank staff had no idea anything was wrong until Monday morning when they opened the vault. Police spent years hunting down the crew, eventually arresting over 30 people and recovering about 20% of the missing cash. Number 2. The Antwerp Diamond Heist. The Antwerp Diamond Heist was so impressive that it's actually known as the heist of the century. Over the weekend of February 15, 2003, a 5-man Italian crew known as the School of Turin pulled off a legendary break-in at the Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium. The operation was led by Leonardo Notarbartolo, who'd actually rent an office in the building 2 years earlier just to get security badges, learn the guards' routine, and study the vault. The vault itself was protected by a crazy multi-layered security system, which included things like combination locks, magnetic field sensors, heat detectors, and light sensors. But the team systematically disarmed every single one without setting off a single alarm. They taped aluminum foil over heat sensors, used silicone spray to throw off magnetic detectors, and bypassed the mechanical locks with custom tools. They cleared out 123 of the 160 safe deposit boxes, walking away with over 100 million in diamonds, gold, and jewelry. They almost got away clean, but one of the members panicked on the drive back to Italy and dumped trash bags filled with vault documents, tapes, and food scraps in a nearby forest. Eventually, local police found the trash and managed to pull a DNA sample off a discarded sandwich crust and matched it straight to Notar Bartolo. In the end, Leonardo got sentenced to 10 years in prison, whilst 3 of the members got 5 years. Only one member got away with his $20 million share, which would be around $34 million today. Number 1. The Iseballa Stewart Gardner Museum Heist. At 1:24 in the morning on March 18, 1990, 2 men dressed as Boston police officers knocked on the side door of the Iseballa Stewart Gardner Museum, telling the night guards that they were checking out a noise complaint. The guards broke protocol and let them in. The moment they stepped through the door, the thieves overpowered the guards, handcuffed them, wrapped them in duct tape, and locked them in the basement. They spent the next 81 minutes wandering through the galleries completely unbothered, picking out specific pieces. Instead of carefully removing the artwork, they would use utility knives to slash 13 priceless works right out of their frames, including Rembrandt's The Storm of the Sea of Galilee and Vermeer's The Concert. Before walking out, they grabbed the security hard drives and motion log tapes from the office to wipe their tracks. In today's money, the stolen collection is valued at over $500 million, holding the record for the biggest private property theft in history. Despite a $10 million reward and decades of FBI leads, no one has ever been charged, not a single painting has been found, and the museum still leaves the empty frames hanging on the walls, making it the most successful heist in history.